My husband and I were walking in our neighborhood when a man stopped us in front of his house and claimed my husband was having an affair with his wife. My 62F husband, 59M, who I'll call Jay, have been together for 26 years, married for 25. He is one of the most wonderful people I know. I had a very rough, dysfunctional, abusive childhood. It took years of therapy and tons of support from Jay to get to the other side and really learn how to love and trust. I also have ADHD, OCD, and suffer from severe anxiety and PTSD from my traumatic childhood. Jay has always been supportive and actually maintained a great sense of humor, especially with my ADHD. He actually was the one who suggested looking into a diagnosis. I was diagnosed about 10 years ago. We met when my daughter, 34, T, was 8 years old. I had been a single mom, so T and I are very close. We went to family counseling right after we married, his suggestion, because we wanted to assure we integrated our family and learned how to do that with steps. To say that it has been amazing is an understatement. Jay and T love each other so much. It took a while, but we really worked at it. I tell you all of this to give a brief glimpse of why I trust Jay implicitly. We have gone through so much together. There were times that I thought that there was no way he was going to stay. That this would be the straw that broke the camel's back. But he has never left my side. When this man stopped us, he asked my husband was having an affair with his wife. Both this man and his wife are well into their 80s. We thought he was joking at first and both of us started laughing. We then realized that he was serious. At first he tried to say that it occurred during lockdown for COVID while I was at work. I told him that that was impossible because I am a teacher and taught remotely, from home, for over a year. We asked him why he thought this was occurring and he said that his wife, who is in late stages of Alzheimer's, confessed to him. We asked if he knew a time frame when this supposedly occurred, as we have motion cameras around our house. Yeah, I am very paranoid, and we could get footage so he could see that his wife has never been to our home. He said he didn't know and couldn't ask her due to the Alzheimer's. This whole thing was so surreal. I was furious. I told him there was no way this happened and my husband would never purposely hurt me. He said that's what all people say when confronted. There was a lot more back and forth, but he refused to back down even though there was absolutely no evidence other than a confession from a woman in late stages of Alzheimer's. I am not naive nor am I blind. There are zero red flags. My husband treats me so well and we do everything together. I 100% believe this so-called affair never occurred. My question is, what do I do now? Do I get a restraining order to assure he stays away from us? Of all the crazy that has happened in my life, this has got to top the list. Am I wrong to want to get a restraining order against an 80-year-old man? Relevant comments? Comment 1. I mean, do you need a restraining order? You were in front of his house, right? Did he threaten you or say anything to make you think he would bother you? Maybe he is also very confused. OP replies, yeah. He told Jay not to go near his property or he would be sorry. We honestly are just worried that he may own a firearm. It's impossible to not go near his property. I don't want my husband hurt. Comment 2. The thing is, it well could have happened. I was mistaken several times for my ex-GF's grandmother's younger brother when I went to visit with her. It was awkward, but we navigated it even after she threw a minor fit that I was dating my own grandniece and it was wholly inappropriate and screamed the house down. Alzheimer's chews Swiss cheese holes in the cerebellum, and to cope with it the mind patches in convenient identities and fills in the gaps. Edit, yes, I am aware this is not accurate in a strictly technical or medical sense. It's called a metaphor, people. Human minds are fragile and we stretch and borrow to cover up holes in our memories. Yeesh. His wife might well have had an affair 20 years past or more, and the ops husband might have looked like that man, and replaced the identities. And her husband, hurt and wounded, confronted them because even though he knows that it's not the ops husband. But he can't not, because not only is he absolutely wounded by the confession but also that he knows it isn't his wife's lover. Or even that his wife had an affair, but this is the only way he can cope with her dementia. What a truly awful situation for all of them. The OP, her husband, the accuser, and his wife. There's just no good side here. Everything sucks here, but nobody does. OP replies, we were discussing this afterwards. I really am ignorant about the effects of Alzheimer's, but I thought that perhaps this could be the case. My husband works from home. During lunch he takes laps around the neighborhood and thinks maybe that is where she saw him. Comment 3. My grandfather had Alzheimer's that caused him to believe things that never happened. He didn't understand that it wasn't true because he remembered going through it. This is one of the few times I'd say to let it slide. If you see the man again, Just say that you looked through all of your camera footage/alerts and there was nothing suspicious. You can't say for sure she didn't cheat, but you can say it wasn't with your husband. OP replies, "Yeah, I like this idea. He must be so lonely. And then to be dealing with this. I think he wants to believe her cause that would mean she's normal again and remembering things. Even if they are bad things." Update. Damn, I'm so sorry. It took me forever to figure out how to edit this. I have no idea how to update. This is my first post. First, I am reading all of the comments and taking them to heart. I read all of the time people thanking the Reddit community for their help and insight, and that is not a lie. You all have shared your stories and really educated me about these horrible disorders. I never realized how horrendous Alzheimer's and dementia are, and not only how they affect the person with the disorder, but the devastation this has on those that love them. You have helped to understand how this man and his wife need our compassion and grace. I did speak with a person in the neighborhood. I was worried about getting anyone involved officially because, as many pointed out, this could cause more harm than good. She assured me that they do have children and friends that do check on them, but she actually has not seen them around a lot lately. She will reach out to them. Next, I was walking around our neighborhood. Some people suggested that I do not walk by their house, but that would be impossible. Think of like a thermometer shape. It is a long street with a cul-de-sac at the end. But in the middle is this big island with 5 houses on it. Anyway, at one point the gentleman knocked on his window and pulled the top down. He asked to speak with me. I said that may not be the best idea, as he essentially accused my husband of a horrendous crime. He said he would only take a few minutes and it was not something bad. I told him I would not go on his property, and I actually backed up to the middle of the street. He asked if I would be okay with his going into his porch. And I said yes. He immediately apologized. He said my husband's demeanor was what made him realize that there was not any truth to what his wife said. He said what many of you have told me about Alzheimer's, and he realized what his wife told him could not have occurred. I told him that I was so happy that he realized this, because after all I had learned in the last 12 hours, it was breaking my heart that this may be the last memory he had of the person he spent almost his whole life with. He thanked me, so I am thanking all of you. That made me realize compassion and grace should be the go-to. We actually then had a nice conversation, altogether talked about 15-ish minutes. He asked me to apologize to my husband for him. I told him I would, and we said see you later. He had a really big smile on his face. Again, I do not think that his would have ended this way without all of your input. Even those of you that called me a Karen, that's okay. I used to teach at a behavioral school, I've been called worse.